There we go, check 1, 2. Hi everybody, we're back on the Hohner YouTube channel. Finally with another Hohner Live. It's been a while, so thank you for tuning in. Let us know from where you're tuning in. Both of us today can check out the chat and chat with you, answer your questions. Super excited about today because we should have done this a while ago already. I've been a fan for a super long time. I watched his YouTube videos maybe like 12 years ago already. So please give him a big hand. Joining us today is Todd Parrott. Welcome.
All right. Thanks for having me today, man. And likewise, I've been a big fan of your music for a long time. I tell people about Konstantin Reinfeld all the time. You got to check this guy out, I tell them.
Wow, so, yeah.
It's an honor to be here. I remember when you were playing 2 years and you posted something at the Harmonica Festival.
Oh, yeah. That was also like the time where the Modern Blues Harmonica Forum was like a little more a thing.
Yeah. And you played something in F sharp on a C harmonica.
Oh, yeah.
So very good, man. Yeah.
I remember that one.
Yeah. So I've enjoyed your music for a long time, but good to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
So yeah, it's been like more than 10 years, I would say. And of course, I watched like all of your old videos on YouTube.
Old.
So like if I scroll down this like 15 years ago, like for example, you demonstrating the non-MS Meisterklasse and stuff like that. But that was the time when I really, it's such a beautiful instrument.
It really is. I've got several of them. Yeah.
I only had like a D flat at some point, but that one also like, I don't know, there was a problem with the cover plate at some point.
Yeah. The cover plates on those were, sometimes they would kind of crush in a little bit if you squeezed hard, but they really had a good sound. I wish that they would bring back that, at least that cover plate. That'd really be cool if you could snap that onto a crossover or something. It would give it a cool sound.
Yeah, and I mean, I also like the feel of like a comb that, is a little heavier.
Yeah, it was a good instrument, wasn't it? It really sounded good. I think Steve Baker played them for a while. Of course, now he's a crossover guy, Marine band guy, but for a while you'd see pictures of him with the old Meister class. And he's another great player too, Steve Baker. I know.
Oh yeah.
It's been a long time. I've just started posting more stuff recently on YouTube, so I've got to get in gear and start putting more content out there. I had no idea back then that YouTube would become as popular as it
Yeah, I mean, at that point there also weren't like too many harmonica players posting stuff. I don't know. I saw your videos. Of course, I saw Jason and Adam Gasso and Ronnie Cellist. He was early on up there.
Yeah,
but yeah, really just a few.
Yeah, that Ronnie and Adam, I guess, were probably the two that pioneered it. They were on in the very beginning. And of course, Jason's got a ton of content, but YouTube is really what kind of helped me, because I always just played by ear. I didn't know. I played piano too by ear, not fluently. I still don't play piano fluently, but YouTube helped me with a lot of theory knowledge, and just because, when I started playing, I could play the blues, but I didn't know what 1, 4, and 5 meant. If somebody said 1, 4, I didn't know any of that. I played one time, and I was playing with this sitting in with these folks, and this guy said to me afterwards, one of the musicians, "Oh man, I just really love the way you played that flat 5 on the," and I said, "Flat 5?" I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, well, and so I played the 5 draw. I said, are you talking about that? He said, no, the flat 5. And I said, this? Yeah, that's the note. I said, that's not a flat 5. That's a 4 draw bend. So I
Oh
had
yeah.
no clue. But YouTube, has been a great resource in the harmonica community.
Yeah, interesting. That's what I wanted to ask. Like, if YouTube also helped you in some way, if you checked out videos or in terms of
Oh yeah, because
music.
I I guess some people think of me now as an overblow player. I don't think of
Definitely.
myself
Yeah.
as an overblow player like Howard or something like or Carlos, but I use overblows in blues and gospel and soul music but I'm trying to mimic licks, so I'm not really trying to play chromatically as much as I am trying to duplicate licks from the lower end of the harp. But before YouTube, Rupert Oisler in 2001.
Oh
I
yeah.
remember talking to him, and he's the guy that first told me over a landline telephone conversation. He said, you can bend overblows, right? You can. I said, no, because I always played them in passing. And he said, yeah, you can bend them. And he demonstrated it over the phone. And it sounded a little weird through the receiver. So I'm just thinking, I really didn't quite get it. And I hung up the phone thinking, why would you want to bend the overblows down? The purpose is to push the note up, like on the 6 overblow. Why would you want to bend it back down? And I didn't understand. He was talking about pushing them up.
Yeah.
And all of this time, I had the Steve Baker harp handbook, and it talked about that, but it just went over my head. And then years later with YouTube, when we started to have access to players like Jason and Howard and Carlos, and I started hearing what they were doing, especially Jason, he was pushing the 6 overblow around. And so I was like, oh, that's what Rupert was talking about. So then I was obsessed with being able to make those sounds and push the 6, especially the 6 overblow, being able to push that around. It's a really good way to mimic licks.
And
So,
to hide bad intonation.
Well, yeah, that too, but stuff like that. And even the 7 overdraw, there weren't a lot of people doing that, but the 7 overdraw would give you the same sound as. So when I discovered that and I started getting custom harmonicas from Joe Spires, it just opened up all of these extra notes. And man, I've said before that Joe's harps, his custom or Joe Spires custom harps, they really just changed my harmonica playing, because I feel like I stepped up not just to another level, but to this whole new world of all of these possibilities, and being able to use the overblows and sustain them and bend them. So yeah, I credit custom harps with that, but YouTube for kind of opening my eyes to that, and lots of other things too. Lots of good players through the years on YouTube. Some of you probably remember Chris McCulloch, and
Oh, yeah.
he passed away, I think, in 2010, but he was another great resource at the time. A funny guy. You have to know Chris, but he was a good player, and I got to meet him at some of the spa conventions and would have conversations with him. So yeah, it's been an interesting last 10, 15 years or so, as you say. But
Wow, yeah. So, did you ever put out instruction material yourself in terms of like a written book or whatever, PDF?
no, I would really like to do something like that. Probably more of a digital download type thing. I should have done it a long time ago, but I do teach a lot of Skype and Zoom lessons. I mean, I'm busy with those all day, every day.
Yeah.
And then I'm also working with Tomlin Leckie now, as far as being a faculty member at the Tomlin Harmonica School. But we just work, some of us work with Tomlin kind of part-time. It's myself, Sandy Waltman, and Robert LaFerriere, I think is how you say his name. I hope I didn't mispronounce that, Robert. If you're watching, sorry. But Yeah, I teach a lot of songs. I have tons and tons and tons of tablature, tons of songs tabbed out, and demonstrations of those. So I'm just trying to find a way to maybe make that available. I don't know if I would have time to teach on YouTube because there's a lot of editing and stuff that's involved with that. But I
Yeah.
definitely want to start playing more on YouTube,
I
and I'd
mean,
like to.
nowadays you also gotta make the videos high quality. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to make the videos high quality, and so it's having two little ones now running around the house that eats up a lot of time. So yeah, but in the future, yeah, I'd like to do that. And of course, I've taught it at many of the conventions, spa conventions, and other workshops around the country. But
Yeah. So you said you learned quite a bit of music theory online. What what would you suggest to other harmonica players out there that want to step up
well,
their theory game? What to check out?
theory, is basically based on the major scale. So if you can understand this little kid's toy, just today I took a magic marker and I was working with someone and I wrote G
Oh yeah.
A, and then I wrote the numbers below. But just understanding the major scale is a good place to start because from that comes the number system. So if G is one, G A B C is your four, D is the fifth note. So you're 1, 4, and 5. Just learning your chords I think is an important part, followed by scales, your blues scale, and really your blues scale. From that you get your minor pentatonic scale. You just subtract the 4 draw bend, and so the minor pentatonic scale is taken from the blues scale, and then the same thing with the major scale. From the major scale, if it had a son, it would be the major pentatonic scale. So he has some of the features as dad, but that's a good one. So really, just the blues scale and the major scale. From those, you can get a lot of ideas. That's kind of like your colors on your paintbrush, right? So you got these colors, the blues scale, and then you've got your chords. That's like your canvas. So how do you that's where you have to figure out, how do I use these colors? How do I use these notes over these chords? And so I spent a lot of time, even before YouTube. This is where the piano came in handy, was being able to play the chords and sound out
Yeah. So does
chords.
the
And that would
piano
make,
only help you like in terms of listening to stuff and hearing chords, or is it also like some sort of a visual representation for you?
it's not visual. I think it's just from repetition. Before I knew what the chords were, there's only so many chords. Now, if you're playing jazz, I mean that can get complicated. But if you're playing country, gospel, pop, rock, there's only so many chords that come up. You don't get too many curveballs, so you kind of learn what they sound like. So before I even knew what some of them were called, for example, in Georgia on My Mind, so you've got Georgia, and then Georgia. I didn't know what this chord was called. I didn't know that was a B. So here's a G, and then a B7. I didn't know that. I just knew what it sounded like. And because it would come up sometimes, I kind of practiced. I could go even when I started playing it on the piano, I didn't understand I understood that it was a B7, but I
Okay,
didn't
yeah.
understand the numbers, the Nashville number system or anything like that. 1, 4, 5, 3, 2, none of that. But I would hold that chord and play my harmonica and try to figure out what worked. And then when it came up again, I would say, oh, there's that same chord from Georgia on My Mind. So Willie Nelson, On the Road Again. Da 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 da. So there it is again.
That's a good example, yeah.
So there are 2 songs now with that same chord in it, and that's an odd one. You don't get the 3 as much. More so in gospel, you get that, but just little bites of things like that. So every time that chord would come across, my ear recognized it, and I didn't understand all the theory behind it, but I knew a few tricks and licks to get around it. And so, but the good thing about all of the chords was being able to press them down on the piano, hold them, and just sit there and figure out what worked and what didn't. So even in the blues, you know, when you're playing a 12-bar blues, and the 4 chord comes, that chord has got a B flat. If we're in the key of G, that would be a C chord, and it's a B flat in it. So that helped me understand that I needed to, or instead of, you know,
Yeah.
you can find, oh, that note doesn't quite, I have to get into. So that really helped my ear. And then just another thing was playing as an accompaniment instrument, playing fills, because when a space opens up, a hole opens up in between the lyrics for a harmonica fill, there was a chord there. So you had to understand a little bit about what chord is it and what works.
Yeah, especially if you only got that little time frame to play something. Like, if you
Yeah,
don't understand
so
the chord and play just something, people will notice, you know?
Yeah. So you kind of have to be on your toes, and you kind of have to know your chords. I learned to listen for the chords before I knew the theory and stuff. So the theory just came in bits and pieces, and then listening to other great players like Terry McMillan, who played on lots of albums. Occasionally, Charlie McCoy, I would hear him on someone's record. Buddy Green, occasionally. At the time that I started in January of 1990, so I was right in the prime, right in the heyday of when Terry McMillan was a big part of the Nashville sound, and he was on everybody's records, from the top #1 hits at the record labels to the mom and pop independent stuff. He was everywhere. But he kind of played a lot of the same fills because he was in the studio every day. And so I kind of learned, you know, some basic things that I could do. And then I started to expand on those, and I started to look at the chords again and figure out, okay, I've got these licks down. What else can I do here? So I think knowing your chords would be just like a painter, and I mentioned this earlier, but just like a painter understanding the canvases. Sometimes there's a white canvas, sometimes it's been painted black, sometimes they'll paint the canvas with an off-white, and so how the colors interact with that canvas, that's important to know. So this nice green color or yellow that you like, it may make a mess if you if you put it on a canvas that's been painted black. I don't know if that's true, but you get the idea there. You got to kind of understand what the canvas is and pick the right notes. So that's just been like the bread and butter, I guess, of what I've done, and the theory kind of followed that. But yeah, YouTube, big part of it, really big part of it.
Yeah.
And playing with other musicians and just, you know, bouncing stuff off of them. Does this sound right? Is this the right note? What should I do here? And getting feedback from others. So, and this was at a time, you know, we didn't have all these resources like we have today. So we had to do it the old-fashioned way. But I'm still thankful for YouTube. It's been a great asset. So.
Yeah, I mean, at least, I mean, for some people it's good. You don't even have to ask people anymore. You can just go to YouTube.
Yeah.
I remember playing
true, not just with music, but
a little harmonica festival in the Netherlands, like many years ago, 12 or something. It was one of my first little harmonica festivals, and Rochelle Plas also played there. And we had like very little time to rehearse with that band. Or maybe Rochelle took all of the time, I don't know. I didn't really have time to rehearse with them, and I wanted to play and sing, actually, Just Your Fool, which isn't a standard blues progression. And I don't know, they didn't even know the song, I guess. So in the end, actually, like on stage, I had to tell them which chord to play while singing and playing
Oh,
harmonica.
yeah.
I had to show them with my hand, play the 4 chord and play the 5 chord, and that was terrible.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you knew how to do that. There was a time I didn't know how to do that.
Oh
I just
yeah.
thought like, well,
I mean, if I
D, C.
didn't knew how to do that, like performance
that's-
would have been over.
Yeah, that makes it it's a universal. No matter what key, you can do the hand signals 1, 4, 5. Um, but yeah, but it's good. It's good to have that knowledge. Yeah. So she's another good player too, right? Rochelle. She was at Spa in 2022. So
And a big golden melody player. I mean, I would consider you, at least image-wise, as a golden melody player. What kind of instruments do you play right now?
oh yeah, Golden Melodies is still my main go-to harmonica, and I just put them. I'm making my own combs now, so I put them on these colorful combs, and I have more Marine Band or Marine Band Deluxe and crossover harps now, just because I can replace the wooden combs. So I play some of those too. That's a red glittery comb but I like the Golden Melody because I was a melody player and it was tuned to equal temperament, and I didn't know that when I first started using them. I just started using them because the country players that I had access to, Terry McMillan, Buddy Green, and then some of the other gospel players, they played Golden Melodies. And when I found out that Terry McMillan, somebody said, he plays Golden Melodies. I said, no way. There's no way he's playing Golden Melodies. Are you sure? They said, oh, yeah, he plays Golden Melodies. And I had bought one, and it sounded a little out of tune because of the equal temperament tuning.
Yeah.
And my dad always watched the country music channels, and he would say, come here, son. Terry McMillan's on the TV. And when I first saw him, there he was with his Golden Melodies. And I said, well, I guess that's what I have to play if I want to sound like that. And so that's why I initially started using them, and they were very comfortable. And then I just got used to the tuning, and then later found out that they were ideal for melody playing. So sometimes when I play a Marine Band or Special 20, I'll retune it to equal temperament tuning. And then I have some that I just leave in the stock tuning in case I'm using more chords. I like the crossover. I think Steve Baker, the touch-ups that he did to the tuning for the crossover model, I think those are really nice because you kind of get, it's not equal temperament, but it's a good compromise. So you can play it in a few different positions. But and these have all been, the insides, the reed work has been customized by Joe Spires. But
oh yeah.
But I think, with any harmonica, I think I can still get the same type of sound as far as the tone, because I think most of that has to do with how you shape the tone in your mouth and with your hands. But yeah, Golden Melody is just a comfort thing for me. So I know they've got a new one. I still like the old one, just because I've played it for over 30 years. It's really hard to.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I may warm up to it. I've got a couple of them now, so we'll see. But I think the old one is still my favorite. So I hope I can keep those running and working for many years to come. But, how about you? Are you still playing Golden Melodies? Is that?
I mean, if I would have to buy a harmonica out of box, like go to a shop, I would always buy a Golden Melody.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the easiest to set up for me too. I get like super good results by gapping only.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be something. Yeah, in a last minute kind of situation, I would just get one of those.
Yeah, I think a lot of the Overblow guys, we know Howard used to use them. I think Jason Ritchie used them, maybe still uses them, but
yeah, and now also the tuning as like a bigger topic. Like I play these customized Marine bands with special 20 cover plates.
Oh yeah.
customized by Thomas
I have
Hanke. He's
one
from Germany. He's like also one of the Hohner affiliated customizers. And I play them
reaching
for
mine.
more than 10 years now. But they are
so
still
he puts-
in some sort of
puts
a
them
compromised tuning.
Oh, really? So he's not tuning them to equal temperament?
No, yeah, and I mean that's cool for me. But now I consider getting all of them retuned to equal temperament because like I encounter this situation more and more often, like playing with an orchestra. Yeah, all the classical stuff, you know.
Well, now I've just got one of those from Joe. It's a Marine band with special 20 covers, so I'm really warming up to that
Yeah.
style. And I've got another one I think with rocket covers. He put rocket covers.
Oh
on
yeah, yeah. I like the rocket covers.
Well, I like that. I still think the special 20 covers though, they just have a nice feel to them. But these are all in equal temperament. Now, what do you think about the are you tuning to 440, 442, or what frequency are you?
Oh yeah, I think definitely for 42.
I think that's where I usually settle too. If I tune one myself, I'm not sure what Joe is using. I'll have to ask him. But 442, I've heard some musicians, some of the Nashville guys like Pat Bergeson and I think Charlie McCoy, if I'm not mistaken, they have their harps tuned at 440.
Oh, okay.
Which I thought was interesting. But I think it's because they're playing a lot of stuff just with the acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
Without the
Yeah,
band.
you
And I
can't
think
do that
there
playing
may-
with an orchestra nowadays or like a classic, like a grand piano situations. Like usually they tune to 443 even.
Oh, is that right? See, I didn't know that. That's
Like
interesting.
most of the grand piano venues I play like duo concerts at, they're always like, yeah, the piano's tuned to 443 and we actually don't like to tune it down to 442.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's that I didn't know that.
And
That's-
then, like, if you have like a compromised tuning, I mean, you start to notice stuff, especially on, I mean, if you're on a C harmonica on the E's and on the B's, that's like where you have the most difference between the two
major
tunings.
thirds basically is on a C harmonica. you're
Yeah,
starting-
basically major thirds both in
Five.
first and in the second position. Yeah,
So 2, 5, and 8 blow, and then 3 draw and 7 draw. Yeah.
yeah, 7-hole draw, and then I mean, especially with these notes, you can't really do something about it. You can't really play them higher.
Right.
Like
Right.
and even like with the 7-hole draw, like you can't even put a lot of expression or vibrato modulation on there. So you're just like really stuck with that pitch kind of.
Yeah. I think maybe you can get away with that for blues, but I don't play classical, but I know with melodies, if you have a note that's a little flat like that, it's you can hear it, and so
Yeah, especially if the note repeats.
yeah. So that kind of bugs my ear a little bit. So yeah, equal temperament. If I can only have one set of harps to take with me, they would have to be
Yeah.
equal.
And I think
for
it's
me.
also interesting that Rochelle plays gold melodies because she's a very chord heavy player in the end.
Well, yeah, I think they sound fine. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how it sounds if you play amplified because I don't do that often. I know Richard
yeah.
Slay had a good video once that it may still be there about the tunings, and I think when you amplify, the compression causes certain undertones or overtones or whatever they are to pop out. But yeah, when she played it,
Oh yeah, definitely overtones. Yeah, that's interesting because like she doesn't really do the amplified thing,
then
you know?
yes, that may be how she's getting around it. Then I don't, but it
Yeah.
sounds fine. And I
Because
think
like that's interesting because like as soon as you start playing the golden melody through an amp, probably, of course, you get all these overtones, and
Yeah.
then, yeah, I mean, these chords might sound a little.
yeah, but I mean, I don't really play that many chords, so I can kind of get away with it amplified when I play amplified. I've heard Buddy Green play amplified, not often, but he does occasionally, and on some of his recordings and I think he was playing golden melodies for a while in the '90s, and then I think he started switching back to marine bands. So I don't know what tuning his marine bands are in, but and even Terry McMillan sometimes would play amplified. But yeah, but I have no problems with. I kind of like the chords on the golden melody, even when it's an equal temperament. If you're doing like a train or something,
Yeah.
kind of the roughness, the out of tuneness, I guess, if you want to call it that. I kind of think that adds a little character for certain things, not always, but on certain things. I like that. I like that sound. I do also do a lot of chugging on the accompaniment stuff. So if you have like a bass line, you know, and I'm chugging, so that doesn't bother me in that context, because
Yeah.
you just kind of do a percussive thing. So
Yeah, it's more about the percussive aspect there. But if you're like, I don't know, a player using stuff like whatever heavily and different intervals, yeah, you will notice a difference.
you think that when you play those intervals on a golden melody like that, that it sounds, you think it sounds better on the golden melody or on a compromise?
On a compromise or even just intonation. Yeah.
So that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'll have to.
But yeah, my tendency today is also like maybe even tuning to 443, because you can always play lower on the harmonica,
Right.
but you can never play higher, usually only with banded overblows.
Yeah. Well, maybe Brendan Power can invent something like that, because he invents like a new harmonica all the time. Maybe he'll have a way to dial in.
To dial in the
Power.
tuning of the harmonica, like
Yeah, you never know with Brendan
with
Power.
a little thing
you know,
on the side, you can just like go, okay, 442, 441.
Yeah, I'll tell you something that I got recently from Brendan that I really like too, is this thing with the I think he's calling it the Moore bends. I don't know if that's the final name, but this little thing, it's the staggered reed plate thing, and if I understand it correctly, there are 11 reeds on the top and 10 reeds on the bottom. So even though I can overblow, if I wanted to play something like and have bendability on the 6 blow and the 5 blow, that's what I use that for mostly.
You
Kinda
basically
like this
push the
thing.
button.
Yeah, and it's I've got one of his slip slider harps too, and I like that. But this is just really
Yeah.
convenient, the spring action. So I did Glenn Campbell's Southern Nights, which is a song that I always liked to play on the harmonica, but you could never get the expression that you needed. The song spends a lot of time on 5 and 6 blows, so I probably need to upload that sometime. But this thing. And then otherwise, it's like a regular harmonica. I don't think it overblows, but for certain things, I keep it in my harp case and use it from time to time. But yeah, Brendan Power is like a mad scientist inventing harmonicas in the laboratory all the time.
Yeah.
You gotta love him. But do you ever play any alternate tunings? And
I
or you
mean,
just
in the very beginning, I started out playing the Paddy Richter a little, because I also worked with this Irish harmonica book that Brandon put out.
okay, yeah. So that gives you
And
3
then
blows.
my heavy YouTube times, I also transcribed every single video that Alex Packlin did.
Oh, Alex Packlin, yeah.
And he had this tuning called True Chromatic. He used that one in some of his videos, and I tried that.
I think I remember that. Yeah,
It's like a circular kind of tuning, which is usually you have like a half-valved instrument then, and you got all the blow bands, and you can just easily transpose if you just move up 2 holes. Got the same breathing pattern, but the new key. That sounded beautiful. Yeah.
he is a really really good player. Also, I haven't seen him in person in a while, but I remember when he was probably 19 or 20 years old. I just commented on one of his videos. I said, "Man, this is great. If you're ever in North Carolina, sometime let me know. Just I'd love to hear you play or something like that." And so I get him. This is back when you could message on YouTube. He says, "I'm here now," and I thought he was joking with me. I said, "You're here," and he was in my town. I said,
Okay.
"Well." I said, "Well, let's hang out." So I went and picked him up, and we just went back to my house and jammed. And so he was a fantastic player. Even this was probably in 2010.
Yeah.
Fantastic player. But I also tuned the seven draw down. I'd use that on.
Oh
on a
yeah,
lot of
I
my-
tried that too because of you at some point.
Yeah.
And I also tried this little B thing tuning that Carlos used on one of his songs,
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, the B
which
thing
gives you like the dominant seventh chords in the lower
Exactly,
octave,
yeah.
basically.
Yeah, I tuned a low F harmonica like that, and I don't know where it is.
Nice,
Or I'll-
yeah.
But I would love to have like an entire set just for those chords, just for chugging, because I don't care about the big bends and stuff that you
Yeah.
can get with them. But it's those chords, I'd love to have a chugging set because that is a really nice sound with those dominant sevenths. And the seven draw. The thing that I like about that is not so much the seven. I mean, I use the seven, but I like having the bendability on the seven blow versus the seven draw. So-
Yeah.
And that kind of,
Yeah.
and you got the stops on the.
Nice.
So it gives you another place to wail, and then like if you're doing like. And then. So it gives you that nice 4 and 7 draw octave split. So there I'm doing the 4/7 draw and then going to a single on the blow, but I use it for things like that, and but not as a replacement necessarily for the 6 overblow. I still use
Yeah.
the 6 overblow, but I like having that note tuned down. It comes in handy, and lots of contexts. And
Oh, and I tried the Panther harp, of course. Yeah.
yeah. I've got a couple of those too, and I think Ronnie Shellist has done a lot of experimenting and some cool stuff with those. But I tell you, recently, what I really like doing, and I talked about this at Spa, is using a country tuned harmonica and C harmonica and playing it in 6th position. So this harmonica is just
Oh,
a
yeah.
C harmonica. And it's been country tuned, which is really a misleading name because it really has nothing to do with playing country. But it's more of a melody type, that kind of stuff. But if you because the note has been changed, if you move to 3, 4, 5 draw, you have a nice B minor. If you had the 6 draw, got a B minor 7, so you can do stuff like. And that's just
Yeah. Yeah, I
turn
remember
this on.
tuning to country tuning at some point too. And I'm just like nowadays I'm also thinking about like more of like pop music situations where you got to play something like a major melody. And then maybe you want to pick 12th position, but then you notice that the melody is heavy on the 4th degree of the scale, like playing that 6th overblow all the time. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not sure if I want to do that. And then I'm thinking about, oh yeah, do I want to do it in 2nd position? Oh shit, then I got to play all these 5-hole overblows.
Well,
so then usually I prefer 2nd position because it's just like, I mean, it's more the nature of a harmonica player, right?
Sure.
But yeah, in that situation, country tuning would be the way to go.
Yeah. I'm for whatever works and sounds the prettiest, you know, for you know, depending on what the song is. But all of those things that I'm playing on the country tuned harmonica, there's no overblows in that. You can play a lot of music. So everything that I've been playing in 3rd position or in 5th position, I'm trying those songs out in 6th position on country tuning. I think Joe Falisco has actually recorded something in the past.
A 6th position song, yeah.
Position on a country tune harmonica. I was talking with him about it once, and he said, "Oh yeah." But I love how everything just kind of falls out like butter. The notes they're just there. A lot of draw notes, but so
even on a regular harmonica, like the 6th position isn't too bad.
Yeah, it isn't.
I remember visiting New York like 8 years ago, going to all these jam sessions, and maybe that was one of the first evenings I only had my C harmonica with me. And I only had that one chance to go up on stage, and they were playing in B minor, so I just did it on the C harmonica.
Yeah, if you can, the 5 draw, I guess, is a flat 5, you know.
Which is bluesy, yeah.
Yeah, so you know, if you can overblow that, but the country tuning, the way that it raises that up, I like that. It lets you get not only that note, but you get these nice.
Yeah.
Nice warbles on all 3
Just like
chords.
2nd position, yeah.
Almost, yeah. It's really cool. If you didn't know what tuning it was, you might think it was a natural minor or something, but it's just something I've been kicking around with lately. And so I did a little workshop at Spa and just talked about some of the things that you can do with country tuning. It's a 6th position, 3rd position major. I use the country tune harps a lot for 3rd position major tunes. And some things work better in a 3rd position on a country tune harmonica. So, for example, like one of the things that, sorry for my kids, I hear them screaming.
It's super quiet, yeah. People really got to
like
turn up the volume.
Yeah, this white harmonica is just a D, and then this pink harmonica here is a G country tuned harmonica. So if I were to play something like Blue Moon of Kentucky in 2nd position, when you get here, you have 2 blow, 1 blow, so you can't really get the expression that you need. So I said, let me try that on G country tuned harmonica. So 4, 5, 6 draw. And so I just said,
Yeah, okay.
and then you can play the rest of the song as well. So
that's perfect,
you know,
yeah.
Yeah, it just works well. So I'm all about whatever the best tool is for the job.
Yeah.
But I know some players like to play everything on one harp, and I understand. I can understand, but and sometimes I'll use 2 harps on one song if that gives me the sound I'm looking for. I did recently. At Spa, I did Edgar Winter's Frankenstein, and on that song I used a C harmonica with the 7 tuned down because I needed it for some of the, so I could overblow, but there's a section in that song where I needed the 7 draw. So I used the C harmonica. And then for some of the parts in the beginning, I used the F. But on the parts, like with the 7 draw tuned down, I was able to go. And to get it nice and fluid. If I had to stop and overblow, I can do it, but it kind of gums up the lick a little bit.
Yeah.
And but I would use the 6 overblow for. You have and then I would switch. And then I can do all of that here. I can do those F parts, but they don't sound. They don't have the same bite punch as this does. But after that, the F harmonica goes away.
Yeah.
And, I usually do like to play the whole song on one harp, but on that song, I really had no choice but to.
Yeah, I remember
like that.
you always been like you're a huge fan of the higher tuned harmonicas.
Well, yeah. At one time, I really did like. The
You were
higher
only playing
keys,
E
but,
flat, E, and F.
Well, I even had a high B flat one time. I think I still have it around here somewhere. And I have this thing. They used to make the piccolo. And this is a high A. And so, but I think there's a high B flat, not a piccolo harp, but I think there's another harp that I tuned up to a high B flat somewhere. But yeah, nowadays, if I'm carrying a harmonica around with me, if it's just one harp, it's usually a B flat because I can usually get around several positions. It sounds good for third position, second position, fifth position, and the maybe when I was younger, the higher keys, I felt like they had more punch, and sometimes they do. But yeah, I don't really like a high G as much as I used to. I like this B flat, but I'll do a lot of stuff.
I've always been into the lower tuned harmonicas, but now for some situations I appreciate the high ones.
So you're moving from low to high now?
Kind of. I mean, there are like so many situations where it makes sense. Like even last week on stage, there was like one kind of section where I was just like going back and forth bluesy, trading licks with the singer in the key of C. And then I started out doing this on the low F, but like if you got the whole band playing, it's so much easier to cut through with the regular F.
Oh yeah. And that's kind of that way musically. Like I think the key of C on the piano, you can play it, low, and then you can spread out. And so sometimes I'll use the F harmonica if you need to have something that's a rocker type song and really cut through. But if it's a slow ballad, then I'll use the low F. So I've got the extremes on both ends. But with the B flat harmonica, I can play second, I can play third.
Yeah, B flat is the perfect key for me too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really really nice one to have. I carry that more often than a C. I just love the sound of it.
But yeah, even the intro music I used today, that was F sharp, and
that was on an F sharp. Oh, I love an F sharp harmonica.
Yeah, and I remember recording something for a producer, and I don't know. That was actually like, that website called Sound Better. I signed up at some point. You can just like offer your services as a musician there. Really? And I think that night I was like teaching online, and I got my very first message on there, like first and only message basically. Kind of famous producer from Austria, and he wanted to have this harmonica part replayed. I don't know, it already existed, but maybe he didn't have the rights to use that particular recording. I don't know. And I couldn't listen to the whole thing while teaching. I was just like, oh yeah, I know this guy, I want to do this. So I was like, yeah, no problem, I'm going to do that. So later on, I could only listen to that little sample he sent, and I noticed that it's a high A-flat harmonica.
Oh, wow.
And I
Yeah.
didn't even have one. So I had to tell him, oh, I got to get that instrument first. And I was just thinking about like the fastest way of getting a high A-flat. You can't get a Hohner high A-flat, not really.
No, but you can I have one that I tuned. I think
Yeah.
it's
I can't
starting-
really tune my instrument, so
started as a high G, and I tuned it. But I very seldom use it, but I just thought it would be good to have.
so I actually ordered a side harmonica. Psst.
Oh, no.
for the recording.
Oh, no.
And it kind of yeah, received it pretty quickly, and then I quickly like set up only like the first 4 holes, like just lowering the gaps because it was just like a lick in the lower 4 holes, and then I recorded the whole thing. Yeah.
I think they used to make this little piccolo harp in a high A flat. I never had one. This is
Okay.
a high A, but I've seen it on some of the Charlie McCoy liner notes where he'll mention that he's using a vest pocket or piccolo. But yeah, you never know with session work what you're going to have to use. I played something recently, and I ended up using a regular F sharp, a low F sharp, an A flat with the 7 draw tuned down for the solo, which I played in 12th position, and because they wanted a certain sound, if I remember correctly, there was like a keyboard sound, and I was trying to mimic what it was doing, so I had no choice but to just play multiple harmonicas. But it turned out really cool sounding. It's on YouTube somewhere. I think it's called Treasure is the name of the song by Sarah. Now what is the name? Sarah Renner. Sarah Renner. The song was called Treasure, and it had this intro harmonica part that they had played on the piano. So I just mimicked that, and then I copied the solo. They had some kind of scratch solo on there, but it turned out really nice with all of the different harmonicas in that track. High A flat. That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah. I got a spare high A flat to sell, everybody.
Well, I'm sure one of the customizers could probably tune you up a high G or something. I
Yeah.
don't know if there's enough reed material. I'm sure they could probably do that.
We didn't really check out the
did.
chat.
Oh, we have questions.
Let's see. Todd, could you demonstrate and explain briefly why you like the 7 draw tuned down on your harmonicas?
Oh,
Yeah.
Bill Moffitt, my friend. Hey, Bill, good to see you.
You went into that a little.
Yeah, I went into that a little, but it's just the 7 draw being tuned down just gives me quick access to the 6 overblow note when it's needed, and you can even make licks with this is well, I thought I picked up a C harp, but even if you were to build a 1 chord lick. You can do those zip ups there, or when you go to if you want to save that note, the 7 draw being tuned down, just kind of keep it in your back pocket until the 4 chord comes. Or
Yeah.
that's what
It's
I'm using it
interesting
for.
how cool the 7 blow with that bending ability sounds on the 4 chord.
Yeah, and you can even like on the 5, you could. Or because the 7 blow over the 5 chord. Simple little lick, 7 blow, 7 draw, 6 blow. Just I constantly find uses for it if you play in the 11th position.
Oh, yeah.
And Chris McCulloch said to me once, we mentioned Chris earlier, he said, well, why do you tune the 7 down? This was at Spa in Minneapolis, 2010. Why do you tune the 7 down if you can overblow? I said, well, you like to play in 11th position, don't you? And he said, yeah. I said, well, what if I did this? And I went to 7 overdrop.
Okay.
And he said, I like that sound. I said, I know, I do too. That's when you bend the 7 overdraw and you let go of it, you land on. So let's go back to second position. So like on the low end, if I said, if I do that up top, I don't have to go 7 overdraw and jump over to the 6 overblow.
Yeah.
I can say, did the same lick in 2 octaves there, but that's one of the reasons that I use it. And then I think I demonstrated already the splits, but like, so if you're playing, that kind of stuff. So I still like a regular tuned harp, and I still have a whole set of them, and I still use them if I'm playing 3rd position major. I don't want the 7 tuned down because I would want to do stuff like, here's just a regular B flat. So there I want to be able to dance around and flutter around on just the regular 7 draw. It would sound terrible on the retuned 7. So I have both. And but Bill Moffitt is also a great player. I know he's probably shaking his head, but he is a great player, and he plays harps with the 7 draw tuned down. So I think that's why he has an interest in and asked that question. But he's a good friend. I saw some other names out there too. I think Amy is here. So good to see you. And I saw some others. I'll have to scroll up and down. So Jerry Fierro. Yeah, there's a lot of good friends, and he's another good player. And Jerry Fierro was telling me to turn up my volume a little bit, so maybe I'll
I
do
took
that.
care of that. I turned myself down.
Okay, yeah. Sorry about that, Jerry. But yeah, lots of good players here. So what else? Do we have something else? Ronnie Ray Carper. Ronnie Ray Carper is here. Yeah. Another good friend and student, and just a good guy from Oregon there. Good to see you, Ronnie Ray.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, what else? What else do we have here?
One-on-one lessons. We both teach.
One-on-one?
Yeah.
Oh, someone's asking about that? I do.
Jerry's comment. Nothing like a one-on-one lesson you both teach, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We both. I teach all day. I'm constantly in harmonica land, but I enjoy it. It's really remarkable, that I can teach harmonica as much as I do. So I'm very grateful for that.
That's crazy. Yeah. How about Spa? I've never been to Spa, and Spa was just happening recently. What was like the biggest surprise this year for you?
Oh, well, I think, the I don't know if there are really big surprises at Spa, because I knew a lot of the people that were going to be there, but it's really cool to see Will Wild and Jason Ritchie, playing and trading licks on stage. That was a cool thing. And just Will Wild is a fantastic player. So there's really nothing quite like Spa with the players that you get from all over the world, all of the styles, the harmonica trios with the big these things, the big chord harmonicas, which
you got one.
I can't play it, but you see those guys there. But yeah, it's just cool. For me, it's a work week. I'm pretty busy. I taught like 3 different seminars, and then the Falisco teach-in is a cool part of it, because you get to go and sit at the table with some of the best players in the world and pick their brain, ask questions, and kind of float around. And late night jams every night. There's a gospel jam, a blues jam, a jazz jam, country jam. So, and then you have spontaneous jams that happen in the hallway. And I was there, and they were up till like 2 or 3 in the morning, and still in the lobby.
Yeah.
The last night at Spa, jamming, and even Sunday. I didn't fly out till Sunday night, and even on Sunday there were still a handful of harmonica players there, and there were jams going on. I walked down in the lobby, and I heard harmonicas, and I thought it was my ears playing tricks on me because your harmonica all week long. But I went down the stairs, and sure enough, there was another little jam. But it's a great event. If you've never been, you would love it. I hope that they can that Hohner can get you over there to play, because that would be a real treat to meet you in person and hear your set.
That's like one of the few festivals I haven't been to yet.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we need to make that happen, Hohner, if you're listening.
Yeah, I can only compare to these Asian harmonica festivals. Yeah. Which is like totally different.
I think those are more competitive, are they not? It's
more competitive, more classical, more chromatic.
Yeah. I only did one of those in 2018 in Guangzhou, and I hope I pronounced that correctly. But Steve Baker was there, and he was like a big star at this thing. So they had like this life-size poster of Steve Baker on the stage, and that was we were there for about 10 days, and we went to a few colleges and a few different live gigs and stuff. But they made us for this competition that they made us judges. There was like a panel of us that were judges, similar to what you would see on one of these shows like America's Got Talent or American Idol or something like that. And I just thought that was so funny. We're sitting there with a little scorecard. But there were some incredible players there, like little kids, 7 years old or younger, playing Flight of the Bumblebee on the diatonic and just standing out in front on the sidewalk and just really a cool experience. And that was Alan Yang from Golden Bird Harmonicas was a big sponsor. He brought us over, and Hohner was there also. And I think Hohner and Golden Bird at that time, maybe still today, they had some type of partnership or agreement or something. So Hohner was cool with us going over there. And but Spa, you need to come to Spa. You need to come to that sometime. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, I remember like 2010, like there was me just like living off of YouTube and just Googling like every harmonica video that's coming out, just like sorting by what was the latest video and then checking out all these videos from Spa. Somebody took with their phones, like the terrible quality sometimes, But as soon as there was something I heard that I couldn't do, I would just like practice until I could.
I can relate to that. That was at one time I was just super obsessed about absorbing and learning everything that I could. Now, as you can hear in the background, I don't have time. I hear like happy screams. I think they're just playing, but this is 1 year old and 3-year-old. So they're wide open, and they're here with us. We both work from home, my wife and I. So they're with her most of the day. But anyway, those were the days, having hours and hours to practice. I used to sit and just before the internet, I would just sit. I had a little rocking chair, and I would sit in front of the stereo and just try to play everything. And I didn't have access to the blues guys and stuff either. I just had to scavenge what I could find on the radio, which is why I ran across the session players. I didn't have access to Little Walter or Sonny Boy or Junior Wells until much, much later. So whatever I could find on records or on the radio, that's what I learned. But like you, obsess over it and try and learn it until I had it down. And sometimes I would get kicked outside on the front porch to practice because my mom, had enough music. So she'd say, "Okay, son, you got to go, got to go outside." So I'd take my little boom box and on the front porch we didn't have.
I can relate.
Yeah, so I was able to, that the front porch was my little imaginary stage, and I could just picture the front yard filled with an audience, and I would, try to play these solos and just rewind cassettes, rewind and listen, and play and play and play until your lips are just chapped.
Yeah, I was always practicing. Yeah, I mean, after school, I practiced the whole day, basically. And then when my family went to sleep, I had to go to the boiler room to continue practice.
Well, a lot of people ask about tips for practicing and what do they need to do to advance, and really that's repetition and just practicing all the time. But I never thought of it that way. I just loved doing it. I doubt that Michael Jordan, I doubt that he thought of basketball as practice. I'm sure he just loved playing basketball, and so he became great at it. So the time that you spend, like with some of the stuff in Frankenstein and some other pieces, I mean, I just practiced it over and over and over again. Even before I walked out on the stage at Spa to play it, I was practicing the licks over and over and kind of stressing about it because there's some weird stuff in there, but it turned out okay. But you never I feel like you can never practice enough. You just have to do it and do it and do it and do it until it becomes second nature and you have that muscle memory there. But
especially with harmonica, I mean, you can practice all day. With other instruments like with the embouchure, trumpet and stuff, I mean, there's a limit, also for singers.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But we as harmonica players, there's not really a limit to
not
how
really,
much you can practice.
Except right here, I get two chapped places, like from the reed plates, I guess. Right here, it gets me.
Oh, you do? Okay.
If I play for a really, really long time, I mean,
yeah.
I think it's just the friction. But right here, just, I don't get chapped lips, but like two little red chapped places right here, and I think it's just from the reed plates, like the friction of it. I don't know if it would happen if I played a special 20, but if I'm playing something with the exposed reed plate edge, but I still keep playing anyway. If I'm working on something, just help it out.
Donald says, Todd, plug your fest.
Oh, the Harp Fest. Yeah, the Carolina Harp Fest. We have Carolina Harp Fest happening October 18th through the 21st. And so we'll have Will Wild, Rolly Platt. I probably need to look at my own poster so I can remember everyone that's going to be there. But we'll have Will Wild, Rolly Platt, Pat Bergeson, who is an incredible player. A lot of people may not know who Pat Bergeson is, but he's a monster guitar player and a monster overblow jazz player and a super, super nice guy. We'll have also Jamie Garner. We'll have Charlie Barath, Jerry Fierro, of course, myself, Gary Green. I'm not looking at my poster, so I know I'm probably going to miss someone. Emil D'Amico, good chromatic player. Bluebeard from Mexico. Let's see here. I probably should look at this so I don't leave anyone out. Oh, Big Daddy Al Emerson, Paul Messenger, Bill Newton. Now, Bill Newton is a dear friend of mine for many years, since I was about 18 years old. He was the first harmonica player that really told me about alternate tunings, and he had his house. He has this room in his house. It's almost like a harmonica museum. But so he has every kind of harmonica and tuning and model that you can think of. And is just a super special friend and nice guy. And he actually plays a lot of country tuned harps in third position also. But he'll be there for part of the event. And Steve August will be there playing piano. And then we have the Pitbull of Blues Band. They'll be with us for the entire event. So we have instruction, we have classes and seminars, but we also have lots of jam time. So Wednesday night is just an open mic jam. There's nothing happening the 18th during the day. We have an open mic jam with the blues band. Then we have daytime jam sessions around lunchtime every day with the band. And then in the evenings after the performances, we have time allotted for everybody to get up and play with the blues band. So I don't think there's quite that much jam opportunity at some of the bigger events like Spa. There are acoustic jams, but the opportunity to get to play every day with the blues band, and a good blues band at that. I mean, these guys are really good. It's a big harmonica party is what it is. We have some instruction.
That's a big lineup, yeah. I didn't know about that. I just found the website and posted it into the chat.
Yeah, the website to get information is ncharmonica.com. You may not see all of the names listed, but you should be able to click on the instructors' names and see.
I'm also add it to the description box here.
Yeah, so it's a really simple site, but it's just a place to go register. We have group hotel rates and all that stuff out there, and yeah, it's just a really fun time, and everything is, as far as hotels, restaurants, all that stuff, is 1 mile from our driveway to the main boulevard. We're on the same exit as the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So everything that you can imagine, every restaurant you can imagine is right here. So there's no, you don't have to go very far to find anything. There's a shopping mall. There's every restaurant. There's, Walmart. So it's a really cool place to have an event. So I'm excited about it. And we're going to have some vendors there too, at least a Hohner booth, and I think a couple others, and some good sponsors and stuff. So yeah, if you can make it, October 18th through the 21st. And also Jerry Fierro, we mentioned him, but he has a really cool thing that he does, because Jerry took lessons with Sonny Terry and tape recorded them. So he's going to be sharing that. It's always funny to hear those recordings of Sonny Terry and and Jerry. So yeah, come check us out.
Awesome. Yeah, posted the link in the chat. Everybody check out the description box. You can find all links to Todd's social media and website there. What's the best place to stay updated? Where are you most active?
I'd say probably Facebook, but these days there's not a whole lot going on with me except teaching. So, but if I have any new videos or music to share, I would put it on Facebook and on YouTube, of course. But I played recently the Jeffersons theme song, and I did that more as a practice for the 3-draw half-step bend, and I just can't believe how much people enjoyed that and shared it. I just thought it was kind of funny because I was doing it kind of just for humor and for practice sake. But somebody actually made me tab it out. So I tabbed out the Moving On Up, the Jeffersons theme. So anyway, I got a kick out of that, but I'm glad people enjoyed it as well.
Nice. Yeah, everybody out there, see you on Facebook. See you at a harmonica festival. Maybe you can make it to the NC Harmonica Harp Fest in Carolina. Thank you, Todd, for being part of this. Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
See you at Spa or another harmonica festival.
Yeah. You hear that, Hohner? We'll see him at Spa. That would be great if Hohner could help you come over. That'd be great. And someday I'd like to get over to Germany to the festival there, but we'll see. That would be fun. Thanks again, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Take care.